The religiously titled Judas and the Black Messiah, actually about 1960s Black Panthers and the FBI. Is this movie any good? Let me tell you, coming up next. Judas and the Black Messiah, released February 2021, is the second effort by writer-director Shaka King. He's actually a co-producer, co-writer, and director. And if he's a visionary, if he's the auteur in this, really fine job here by Mr. King. The movie is about the real-life FBI informant Bill O'Neill, Chicago, 1968, and he infiltrates the Black Panther Party at the behest of the FBI and starts to spy on them and narc on them for FBI agents, primarily J. Edgar Hoover and his underlings, special agents. Here, J. Edgar Hoover played, very interestingly, by Martin Sheen in some heavy makeup. LaKeith Stanfield plays here the Judas character, Bill O'Neill. He's infiltrating the Black Panther Party in Chicago as they're going after this character named Fred Hampton, a real-life figure, very young man, age 20, age 21, played here wonderfully by Daniel Kaluuya. And thus you have the characters of the title, Judas and the Black Messiah being semi-Christ-like figure, although not so much, I think, Fred Hampton, but definitely a Judas figure here, the Bill O'Neill character. The movie at once wants to be a biopic, a little bit of Fred Hampton. It wants to be a historical exercise, a period piece about, the Chicago Black Panthers in the 1960s. I think mostly it's an FBI informant film, and what it feels like to be a narc or a rat, this Bill O'Neill character, who is conflicted, obviously, in the movie. Early on in the movie, great opening scene, or one of the opening scenes, is he invades or goes into a bar and tries to steal a car from somebody by pretending to be an FBI agent. Well, be careful what you pretend to be, because the police bring him in, then the FBI gets a hold of him and basically makes him, semi-forces him to be an FBI informant. And one of the temptations for him is money and cars, so they're going to pay him a lot of money. Kaluuya plays a very charismatic Fred Hampton who tries to unite all kinds of groups all over Chicago. Black Panthers, the black group, the Crowns, the Puerto Ricans, even, I think, a Southern Heritage group with a few white people. So he's a uniter and unifier against the police force in Chicago. This movie brings up, for the year 2020, year 2021, Black Lives Matter protests, also the rhetoric about defunding the police. We've had that in this year. And here, these issues, the movie shows us, were around in the early to late 1960s into the 1970s in the United States of America. Now, I was expecting sort of a knockoff of the Black Panther movie. That is a superhero movie that was very popular and garnered the studios a lot of money. And here you've got a movie released in February, Black History Month in the United States, about a Black Panther. So I thought, well, they're just going to try to make a cash grab here. This movie is actually pretty artistic and pretty well done overall, I thought. And I thought maybe this would also annoy me because it's going to be overly political, overly preachy. At times it is. But in fact, I actually forgot about Black Lives Matter and other contemporary issues while I was watching this and thinking more about what this movie is overall about, the betrayal of Bill O'Neill, the trust and friendship and the lack of it overall, the Judas and Jesus dynamic, which clearly is in the title. And Shaka King's direction, I think this is the thing that really makes the movie for me. Even though the movie, the second half really decrescendos, and there are probably 10 to 20 minutes with too much quiet family scenes trying to make Fred Hampton out to be not as big of a revolutionary. The movie builds him up as one, but then sort of downplays that, and as his girlfriend becomes pregnant, he's going to be more of a family man. This movie actually has surprisingly, a lot of noir imagery. In fact, I was shocked by it and how well done it is. The backlighting, the weird angles, lots of cigarette smoking, and the aura of the cigarette smoke coming off and swirling around the characters. The dark corners in this movie, the people, you see them as silhouettes. Long shots of the characters in alleyways or in back alleyways. And the noir aspects of this movie, I think, first of all, you get the shooting and cinematography and editing, and then the inevitable fate of the characters here. You know what's going to happen. I think was a really smart choice. And Shaka King has a great eye for framing, for blocking, and for knowing how a scene can be put together. Even just a simple two-shot or two-person conversation, really well done here. So I would like to watch this movie in terms of its color, lighting, framing, and all that sort of thing. And for that reason alone, I do actually recommend this movie to you. The movie surprised me as well. I thought it would be more about the charismatic Fred Hampton figure who the movie might be making out as a minor Malcolm X or MLK character, but in fact, I found this to be about the anti-state group, the Black Panther group, actually the unification of a bunch of anti-state or anti-government groups, like being against the police, and the problems of FBI informants. The FBI has all the power here. They have a lot of money. They are the guys in the suits. There's a little bit of a hint of a Matrix-like thing going on here with the men in black, as it were, with the FBI agents, one played by Jesse Plemons, who has contact with this Bill O'Neill character and sort of actually wines and dines him, and then the higher-ups, like Martin Sheen playing J. Edgar Hoover. So you've got this group that is anti-state, but the problem for Fred Hampton is he's not paranoid enough to sniff out the rats, the narcs, in his midst, which is Bill O'Neill, and that is a major problem if you're going to radically oppose and in public the gigantic state, here the U.S. government in this movie, and for all groups that are seeming to be anti-state in some way, they've got to deal with the threat of FBI informants that would raise their paranoia level and then would raise the group distrust overall. The movie struck me very strongly with this message. If you're going to be anti-state, you've got to have a high level of paranoia and sort of watch out for the infiltration of your group. You know, Spike Lee made a recent movie about this, the Black KKK Klansman movie, and I think it's an ongoing theme throughout the mid to late to still now in the 21st century, but certainly with the J. Edgar Hoover administration, which this movie shows, and it has an absolute hate for J. Edgar Hoover. This movie, to me, is a 3.5-star movie. I think it's a good movie, rewatchable. It's got some flaws, but I could show clips of this to students to talk about not just Black history, but actually film noir and modern film noir and how it can be done. This one does it actually pretty darn well in reference to all kinds of 1940s and 50s movies, which are its predecessors here. So if you like that sort of fare, you might actually like this movie quite a bit. What do you think of this movie? Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe to this channel for more great content. Thank you. Have a great day.